In this video, we're going to check out the sharpness and the optics of this guy. It's the Tamron 50-400 F4.5-6.3. Is this the answer to the one and done lens that we are all looking for? Maybe. And it really depends on you as a professional or a hobbyist is what you need out of this lens. So in terms of the optics and the mind-blowing quality of the 35-150, we're really not going to find it in this lens. Having said that, this is just that much more versatile. I think this thing's more targeted to an outdoor lover who wants to do a lot of maybe wildlife and landscape. So it's not going to have that fast aperture that we're looking for in low light situations, and it's not quite going to live up to the sharpness expectations of your professional, I would say. So to back that up, let's jump in and have a look at some of the test shots that I've taken with this lens, as well as a really deep dive into the sharpness and optics.
So here are a few shots with this lens that I've taken, and I have to say one of my favorite things about this lens is its incredible minimum focus distance and magnification ratio of 1:2. So near macro like shots on a lens of this versatility is just fantastic, and I'm all about having one lens that can do a lot of things. I don't like to swap my lenses too often. So for this to have this ability where something like the 35-150 does not, makes this lens one of the most versatile available. Now, having said that, the optical quality that you can expect of this lens is not to the same caliber of the 35-150 or the 100-400 G Master. If sharpness across the board from the center all the way to the corners is of utmost importance to you, this might not be the lens for you. But if you are somebody that's looking for a incredibly versatile lens that can absolutely produce professional results, then this is to be considered. With 9 aperture blades, the bokeh of this lens is decent. It's nothing mind-blowing, but you can get some great compression. And its fastest aperture of f4.5 means you can even get away with some portraits in certain situations. Now, by no means would this be my go-to portrait lens, but know if you were limited to the amount of lenses you were able to take traveling, for instance, this one could pull it off in a pinch. So looking at the sharpness and the optics of this incredibly versatile lens, we're going to start here at 50mm wide open at f4.5. As you can see in the center where it counts, it's very sharp, and moving into the corners, it's actually a fairly good performance, all the way up to the corners, which it actually performs a bit better than I'd expect, and a little bit of vignetting, as you can see here, a bit of distortion, and this is before we have the profile correction in Lightroom here, so this is what it looks like straight out of camera without your corrections turned on, and we'll get into that a little bit more later on. But at 50mm here, wide open, a decent performance for sure. Stopping down a little bit to f5.6, we can see that vignetting clear up a little bit and the sharpness increase a bit. Stopping down to f8 now we've got a really good performance here across the board, especially in the corners. Down to f11, completely usable. All the way down to f16 here, still looking good, and we can go all the way down to f22, and we've got a little bit of softness come in here in the corners, but the center of the image and the overall image is going to remain pretty darn good. A little bit of haziness, but at f22, what do you expect? Next, at 200mm here, we can notice a bit more distortion going on, and the vignetting is definitely apparent. This is about halfway through our focal range, and this is wide open now at f6.3. So not the fastest lens, but as far as sharpness is concerned, the center of the image, again, quite good contrast. And as we go up to the corners, you can see a pretty darn good performance, I must say. And even into the very edges, it's a really good performer at 200 here at f6.3. Stopping down here to f8, we can see that vignetting disappear a little bit and the sharpness improves just a tiny little bit, which is nice. And down to f11 here, still looking good. All the way down to f16, and it's the same story. It's going to start to kind of soften at this point down to f22. But overall, the image is completely usable and decent performance for the versatility of this lens. And here we are at 400mm zoomed all the way in. Our maximum aperture is still f6.3. The center of the image is quite sharp, not quite as sharp as 200mm, and it does degrade just a little bit as we get into the corners a little bit. As you can see here, not quite as sharp. And the very corners here wide open are a, well, decent performance, definitely nothing outstanding or mind-blowing. Let's stop down to f8 to see if we can notice a difference. Still a little bit of softness here, nothing crazy. and f11 here, not great once again. So for me, there's really no point at 400 millimeters where the corners are gonna be outstanding. Stopping down further to f16 here, we can see that that vignetting has finally disappeared down to f22. And in this case, we can go all the way down to f32, and you can notice a bit of softness all around here, a little bit of haze. So I'd stay away from f32, and you probably wouldn't be stopping down this far anyways, but you can. But in terms of the sharpness overall, it's a decent performance.
So there's a quick look at the sharpness and the optics of this 50 to 400 millimeters. Let me know your thoughts about this lens so far down in the comments, guys. My full in-depth review is coming, but there's still lots to check out about this lens, like autofocus and how it performs in a bunch of different situations, because it's actually capable of performing in a bunch of situations. So thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.